Who did Yuan Bingyan incite? After the prevalence, you may preserve on final in media shops, typically it is something however a troublemaker. Yuan Bingyan's career become impacted through the tax avoidance prevalence of her enterprise. Regardless of whether or not she stored her appearing career, she would not have the choice to develop mainly for a while. This is a misfortune for her, who's 30 years of age. The superb time of the real entertainer is short, and the lifestyles after the lower back influxes of the Yangtze River push to the front waves is difficult. After a time frame has passed, netizens' verbal evaluation of Yuan Bingyan has now no longer finished. It is through and huge commonplace that Yuan Bingyan should forestall media shops. For what purpose wouldn't it not be an excellent concept for her to preserve on final in media shops? However, that is unreasonable to Yuan Bingyan, it is not her desire to stay or now no longer. Assuming she is certainly impeded, she has no area for unwinding through any means, there may be no doubt approximately that. Since he stays in media shops, it typically seems to be legit. It become accounted for that it become now no longer Yuan Bingyan's personal tax avoidance, however alternatively Yuan Bingyan's enterprise. Not similar to special VIPs pronouncing tax avoidance and tax avoidance, the concern related with Yuan Bingyan is Yuan Bingyan's enterprise tax avoidance and tax avoidance, now no longer straightforwardly alluding to Yuan Bingyan tax avoidance and tax avoidance, like a Fushawang, Sumway, and Molun. This is the maximum essential distinction, and the concern is not something very comparable through any stretch of the imagination. The essential frame is Yuan Bingyan's enterprise, which stored Yuan Bingyan. Whether or now no longer Yuan Bingyan is an investor of the enterprise or a valid person of the enterprise, the hobby of the enterprise does not contain Yuan Bingyan alone, and it is something however a query of masking the sky with one hand. There will surely be special conditions in it. Accept tax avoidance and avoidance for instance. The person on top of things should be the enterprise's money. How would possibly an enterprise have any money? It become a financial slip through that introduced approximately underpayment of expenses. Along those lines, Yuan Bingyan's legal responsibility is typically now no longer so fantastic. The predominant responsibility lies with the number one frame of the enterprise, now no longer Yuan Bingyan. Tax avoidance and tax avoidance through the enterprise, that is an authoritative sort of tax avoidance and tax avoidance, pretty debilitates the unique responsibilities of associated parties. All matters considered, the enterprise is chargeable for bookkeeping, and there are archives, for example, financial reviews and financial summaries, which may be checked plainly. Combined with the attraction of substantial information, do not try to drag off a record. Yuan Bingyan failed to straightforwardly flow into those facts, but simply took the component that she took, which becomes same to the reimbursement component. In addition, the enterprise has settled up at the cost absolutely next to being reminded through the evaluation agency, and the mentality remains very great. Contrasted in different tax avoidance episodes, the sum is little, now no longer a lot as a small portion, so there should be doubt of exclusion. Since Yuan Bingyan has now no longer beneficially prohibited, she is honestly now no longer a troublemaker. In those years, while the celebrities associated with tax avoidance and tax avoidance have an area with the category of troublemakers, it smiles difficult to preserve on growing in media shops and damage their appearing vocation. Because of the special concept of the episode, Yuan Bingyan become now no longer prohibited. At the factor while the episode occurred, many people had been protecting on to peer the joke, watching for seeing Yuan Bingyan's all facts being confined and dropped. Yet, she failed to take a seat down tight for it, and it becomes but unblemished following 24 hours, which ignited every other spherical of discussion. For what purpose would possibly Yuan Bingyan at any factor preserve on final in media shops? Regardless, with inside the occasion that Yuan Bingyan can continue to be in media shops, then she is honestly now no longer a complete troublemaker, or she can be able to vanish well with inside the beyond. In addition, the authority failed to compel Yuan Bingyan to forestall the leisure circle, which indicates that the concept of the episode is certainly unique, and it could not agree as much as the beyond ones. Thusly, the relaxation of the sector should not regard Yuan Bingyan as a troublemaker. There aren't any hints on it. For what purpose wouldn't it not be an excellent concept for her to be determined through standard evaluation? It is excessively unjustifiable and sensible. It is stated that famous evaluation is the straw that broke the camel's lower back that pulverizes people in media shops. Is standard evaluation certainly legitimized? The reaction is sincerely now no longer, it ought to be stated that standard evaluation affects Yuan Bingyan's status in movie and TV assets, making her a danger craftsman consistent with the accomplice. it is justifiable that after the overall evaluation opposes a person and unique, the strength is limitless, and the maximum not unusual place version is presently. Clearly not anything has been finished, and I want to latently live below the radar for a year, and my career ought to select the choice to press the respite button. Comparing to the manner that Yuan Bingyan failed to impede and forestall the diversion circle, anyone ought now no longer be fixated on it. Since the above stored her, it typically appears okay.